I don't know who the Nelk boys are, but apparently they're a big deal for Generation Z. Israel's been dealing with the PR crisis, so they're trying to reach out to Generation Z and to win them over. So they appear on a major show. Hey, we're cool kids, whatever. We're gonna hang out and show why we're the good guys and why you should like us. But the stunt failed spectacularly, and Israel has a major crisis on its hands. It's because people are seeing what's going on with Gaza, number one. Number two, there's a huge difference of opinion between the boomer generation, which is largely very pro-Israel, historically has been. It's kind of just wired into them, versus now going into X, the millennials falling out of favor, and then Gen Z apparently does not like the modern version of Israel. Not to be confused with biblical Israel and the atrocities that are happening in Gaza. But so the Nelk boys under fire. So they confirmed in an interview with the Bibi Netanyahu that it was scripted. They just gave them a paper with questions to ask. So they're getting attacked for that. So the Nelk boys, Kyle Forgerd, has confirmed that their softball interview with Bibi Netanyahu was largely scripted, as the prime minister's team had handed them a paper with questions to ask in advance. And here's the video where they even mentioned that as well.
And there was just like 20 people in suits there.
Yeah.
The setup was already there.
Well, it was hard to hear, but basically they're saying there's like, yeah, you're going to go for this interview. Like, wow, what an honor and a privilege. You get to go hang out with the prime minister of Israel. But it was kind of like an intimidating situation. You have about 20 guys in suits. Then they hand you a script with a pre-approved questions. Don't you dare throw any curveballs to Bibi and make him look bad.
What's your go-to at McDonald's?
No, I'll tell you, Burger King. We did the double,
Whopper?
The double.
I haven't ripped Burger King in a long time.
Burger King kind of sucks.
Yeah.
No,
the
you're wrong.
BK Lounge can hit.
I disagree completely.
You like Burger King over McDonald's?
That's your worst take, I think.
Absolutely.
That's a crazy take.
No, that was fine. I mean, I like Burger King. The answer is yes.
Okay, well, there you go. So there's your softball interview with Bibi the Butcher. Tens of thousands. I don't know how many people are dead now. 60. Last I saw, I think it was like 65,000 people. Mostly civilians, innocent women and children, dead in Gaza. And they're withholding food aid from them. They're shooting them, slaughtering in the streets. It's horrific. And people see through the Gen Z are seeing through it, because you ain't going to see anything like that on Fox News. So the boomers are in their bubble. They love Israel. You'll never see the slightest criticism. Anyone will be banned from Fox. It's the kiss of death as a conservative Republican to ever criticize Israel. So that's too bad, but they've done this to themselves, and they are a very bad copy of biblical Israel. These are not the same people. Saying reputation takes years to build and just seconds to ruin. And it's the most insane sellout known to man. It's very clear what Netanyahu's agenda was here, targeting the younger audience that's rebelling against his regime. And asking him if he prefers Burger King or McDonald's while people are starving. That's insane. Interesting. This is the reality of how that is seen now. In fact, let me show, there's a good tweet here from Cernovich, kind of spelling out the reality, saying if you follow politics and media closely, you get the sense Netanyahu has some problems, but more like, 60 to 40%, don't like him. But in the broader world, and especially among these Zoomers, he is absolutely despised. It's a 90-10 issue. So Israel's got a major crisis on its hands as they go into the future. They realize that their allies are literally dying off. So they're making some desperate attempts at PR, but I don't think it's going to work. And they only have themselves to blame. They had the whole world on their side after 10/7. Fucking Hamas, crazy ass terrorists, invading, going in Israel, slaughtering people at a music festival, 40 beheaded babies, mass rapes. Except it turned out that there were no beheaded babies. There was no mass rapes. There were a lot of people that got killed, and it was an awful fucking story. And you had the whole world supporting you. And somehow they fucked that up because they made up propaganda that wasn't true. And then they used that as an excuse to slaughter tens of thousands of innocent people. And they're currently still committing war crimes and starving the people out. And we're also realizing that this country has absolutely nothing to do with biblical Israel, and most of the people that live there have nothing to do with the bloodlines of the Hebrews that once resided there 2,000 years ago. So we start questioning our allies and our support. And I mean, a lot of the support is, from Christians, which is bizarre. Kind of our allies, but at the same time, the people that murdered Jesus and don't think that if Jesus came back, Bibi Netanyahu would have him imprisoned immediately. So, are these our allies? I don't know. I don't think so. Not anymore. They've ruined it. They've destroyed their reputation. Got the Israel fatigue. I'm done. The whole Zionist thing. This is not an anti-Semitic thing. This is a deep skepticism of Zionism. Who these people are. So, interesting note here from Dave Smith, who's done a tremendous job slaughtering people in debates over Israel. And it's changed so much just over the last few months. The topic of Israel. And thanks in large part to Dave Smith, I would say, who's changed the narrative. So he says, no one has hosted more debates on the subject of Israel versus Palestine for the last 2 years than Piers Morgan. And Piers Morgan used to be a very one-sided on with Israel. And he's absolutely changed his opinion in the months since. But he says the reason why the pro-Israel crowd is now bitching about the platform is simply because they are consistently losing the debate and all credibility as a decent person. That's how bad the Israel narrative is now. With this modern day, not just saying, this is not an anti-Semitic thing, it's not against the people there, but it's against this hostile Bibi regime. Which is like 10 times worse than Bush Cheney. I don't even think the U.S. during the Afghanistan and Iraq committed anywhere near the amount of atrocities against innocent people like you're seeing happening in Gaza. If you're allowed to see that, you're not going to see that on certain networks, but it's certainly out there. It's all over Twitter, and nobody's denying it's at least probably 60,000 people dead. And we won't really have real numbers for it could be a long time. But where they sort out and dig all the missing people out of the rubble. They're leveling that place. It is it's a big blatant genocide. So what are they going to do? The AIPAC-funded representatives are going to be seeking a crackdown on anti-Semitism with a bill to censor social media, including fining social media companies $5 million a day for failing to comply with their censorship and spying demands. So they can't debate the issues. The young people hate them. And rather than try to win hearts and minds with the narrative, because they know they can't win. So now they're just going to try to censor people. With all the Congress people they bought and paid for through AIPAC and others. Pretty wild. Gen Z is going to bring glory back to Israel. I'm going to say no. It's definitely not. I don't know what Israel is going to look like in several years, because at some point they're just going to have to be on their own. They can't rely on the United States to save them everywhere and to be their big brother and protect them. It ain't going to come from the millennials anymore, or the Gen Zs, the Zoomers, the millennials. It's over. They know it. It's too bad, but they did it to themselves. So, what's next? Israel debate getting too easy for the Zionists? Nope, that's a trick one. That's a trick question. No, they can no longer do it, so they're just shying away from it. You can't go on with somebody like Dave Smith. I don't care if Douglas Murray. They've already put their best people up there. You're not going to see Ben Shapiro or Mark Levin or any of those guys go on these shows anymore, because they know they cannot win, and they're just going to look like an awful person trying to dismiss the blatant genocide that's happening. So they have, backed themselves into this corner. So now they're just going to censor, try to shut people down for mentioning it.